Hello and welcome to my summary of my last week in Vegas, week number 8. I was in Vegas for 8 weeks. I'm back home now doing the summary, but wow, 56 days in that place, just playing tournaments nearly every single day. I played 102 tournaments altogether. It's still just mind-blowing to me that I went through all that, and the time went so quickly. Day 1, I had the Mystery Bounty day 2, which was quite a nice sweat, to be honest. I mean, I think there was 200k bounties, 250k bounties, loads of 25k, 10k bounties, etc. And even just one of those is such a swing in terms of variance that it's just absurd. The amount of extra variance that can go into a tournament with a concept like this. But I made day 2, that's when the bounties come into play. The minimum bounty is 500, and then one of the very first hands I raise early position off my 30 bigs or whatever with Queen 10 suited, we're already in the money. And then the small blind goes all in for like 6 big blinds, and the big blind folds, so I get the dream spot to play for a bounty.
Oh, wow.
Payout 58.
So I got a mystery bounty immediately, and then proceeded to go on a bit of a heater. I got up to like 50 or 60 bigs, and then I just lost every single all-in in a row.
Hey. Nice one.
I hadn't claimed the mystery bounty yet because you can do it whenever you want, and I think like 5 all-ins in a row, all where I covered them, I ended up losing, and then I think I got it in bad for my last all-in and busted, but I thought, you know what, I've still got this mystery bounty, cash for like $3,000, and I'm getting at least $500 from the mystery bounty. I go up, I pick out my mystery bounty, you get to pick it yourself, there's loads of envelopes in there, none of the big ones have been won yet, and at least like 50 of them have already been taken, so it's pretty sick sweat. And then I pull a $500 bounty, so that was a bit like, that was like such a nice sweat, suddenly just all completely out the window. And then I go play the $800 World Series tournament and do no good, and then I go play the $800 PLO, the Venetian, and I got kind of close to the money, and again, just no good. And then on my second day, I went to play the $1,500 Closer, which is a great tournament. It's only a 30-minute structure, but you know, everyone is like withered from the series and just done with it. There was a lot of punting and gambling going on in this tournament. Although loads of like wizards were there as well. I busted twice, and then I came back the next day and I busted again. So I waited as long as possible. So this is something you can kind of get away with the World Series. I'm not sure I'm necessarily saying I should advocate this, but this is what I was told to do. Buy in at the dinner break, which is last time you can reg, and then wait as long as possible for them to call you in. So then you'll put in the tournament as late as possible. You get obviously a much less big blinds, but you're much closer to the money, so you can almost double up and then like tank into the money. So I got in, I double up ace queen versus ace king first hand. I then get it in, I think 10-8 suited against pocket 9s, blind v blind, where I just jam like 17 bigs. And I won that one as well. And then I defend 9-6 of clubs, it comes 9 high, and I just check jam into an overpair to bust. So that's how I busted there. And then on day 4, I got such a nice sweat. I went and played the 1K turbo twice, and actually, I think the first bus was so sick. I 3-bet squeeze aces, get cold call from the big blind, and the SPR's like 2, and then he has 5s and flops a set on like a 7 high board, so I busted. And then second entry, I 3-bet king 10 suited, bet queen 2-2, turns to jack of clubs, gives me a flush draw as well as the open ender. I jam, and he's got jacks. So I get it in with like the sickest draw, and I'm going dead. So I busted the 1K turbo twice. I go home and play the 1K World Series event online, and it just goes so well. I probably got luckier than I've been on this whole trip in this tournament.
Oh no. Get there. 2. Yes! Yeah! Got a call off here, jammed versus cut off open. Looks like I've ran into it. There's a small chance he's still got like king queen suited or pocket 8s, but probably gonna need to hit. Ace jack, just need a 9, just a 9. Just a queen, oh hold! Yes, yes. All right, ace king wins the side, but that's fine, we're alive. Got kings, 25 bigs covering the opener. I think this is actually a really nice spot to flat. Especially with both of these guys can jam. This guy's quite short, so when I free that, I look really strong. I think aces and kings are good ones to trap with sometimes. I'm in position. Oh yes, oh yes. Can we hold? Can we get a hold? This is huge. This is really big. I don't know if I want him in as well. I mean, I guess it's worth the EV. GL, GL. Pocket 9s to beat. Just no 9. Just no 9. Just no 9. Yes. 1.3 million chips. This is big. He raised really big pre as well. That's a really clean turn. He shouldn't even have pocket 8s in his range. Oh, and he's bet big. Do I jam now? Do I jam now? Because he's not going to fold like king, queen, ace, queen. I think I jam now. I think I just go for it. I think he's bet too quick to even have a better hand as well. Just have aces or kings. Just have aces or kings and don't fold. Come on. Faster snap call. Always the best hand. Oh man, that was a big pot though. 1.99 million chips.
I got it in bad once and I got there, and then I busted Phil Hellmuth in a pretty sick spot where he calls my flop bet and then just donk jams when I try and top that.
Well, he donk jammed really fast. Let's go. King 10. King 10 no good. He's out. Fucky.
And I had so many interesting hands in this tournament.
I think I can just rip exactly ace queen. He probably never has ace king, right? Block aces. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go all in. He probably just never folds anything, so he's still got his whole range. Folds most stuff now. Don't snap. Yes. Good spot, good spot. Oh no. Hold, hold. Yeah, boy. Playing to win. Oh, he seems to have a genuine decision. Can't see this guy continuing. Well, you never know. He's a fish with loads of chips. Oh wow. Oh no. This is not ideal. I think I bet range in this spot so he doesn't get to bin me too much. Really pray for the no check raise. Nice and small. Lots of room for other stuff. Still lets him call with potentially pocket 8s and 7s. Quick call is good. 8 of spades is probably not the best card. You might have like jack 10 of spades, ace 10 of spades. So I don't want to give him the chance to go all in because I don't want to put my tournament life at risk. Hopefully it just goes check, 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 or check, check. We river the ace of spades or river the turn of queen, river a queen. Ace of spades, please. 6. I mean, that's probably good because less likely he's got 6s, but he did call the flop really fast. And the quick jack on the river, I think I'm good, but I'm just too scared to value bet in this spot. There's a chance he has like king jack suited and snap jacks too, so 7s, nice. I free bet 3x, check back, and then he bets small on the turn. So is this hand good enough to value bet? He probably gets jacks in pre sometimes. Probably value bets king queen, ace queen on the river. I don't know, it's pretty close. Feels like the worst one I could think about it with, but I blocked 10x, which I want him to have, but is he gonna call the river with like pocket 9s, pocket 8s? He's got the fish tag, so I'm gonna go for it, but I think this is kind of thin. It looks like I can have ace king, ace jack as well, so let's see what happens. Don't just snap me with queen jack. Oh, that's fine. Gone for the free bet bluff against chip leader open here. Playing 25 big blinds, hoping to get it through. Looks super strong. I've been pretty tight so far on this table, at least in terms of free bets. I've only showed up with it. He's been pretty active. I think he should give this a lot of respect. There we go. This guy's gone for a snap big bet. Backdoor, gut shot to the nuts, 2 overs against his burn range. I kind of want to raise, but I think this guy's a bit of a loose cannon, so I'm just going to call. Oh, the 2 of hearts. Very good card for me. Do I ever want to lead? I think I could, but I feel like he just doesn't seem the type of guy to fold versus like a little third bet here, even with ace high, and I don't want to bluff river, so I think I'm just going to check and take my price, snap check back. not the best hand to bluff, but I mean, this is my board, right? Like all my hands feel like they get there. He's gonna have ace high a lot. He's gonna have, I don't know. I think I just have to bluff this one. I think this feels like a nice size. It's not that much for my bluff either. Obviously my 10 high is not good. Probably snap calls with a pair. Yeah, he's got a pair of fours. Maybe I should have raised the flop. Hope for the back. Oh yeah, top two. So, interesting hand. Folds to us in the cutoff with pocket tens. And we raise slightly bigger because the big blind is very bad. Ace 6-4 rainbow, bet small, he calls. Turns at 2. I decided to bet again small because I think he's going to call with 2x, 4x, 6x, flush draws, because he probably calls the flop with like queen jack of spades and hands like that as well, and 7-8, all sorts of stuff. And I've not seen him play aggressively post flop yet, so I don't think he's going to start owning us, and I could just have better hands anyway, so I'm happy to bet fold. And then worst river in the deck, so he gets there a lot, but he did not get there. All in, ace jack with 12.5 bigs, a little bit more. Oh man, looks like I'm gonna have to get there. This might be it. Ace queen, I need a jack. I need a jack, just a jack, just a jack. Nah, GG. Ooh.
So I came 26th, which is actually my deepest run of the series in an online event, which is pretty sick. It's week 8, day 5, and I'm playing my final tournament here in Vegas, the $5,000 2-day turbo. My first table was really good. I was pleasantly surprised to see there was like 3 recreational players, and it's an 8-handed table. And then they moved me within 1 hand, and I get put on a table with Dominic Nietzsche, Joe McKeon, Elio Fox, some other wizards, like online wizards, and I just ran really good. I ran a pretty sick bluff where I bluff jam the river that happened to get through this time. And then I call and open with ace king suited, small blind jams like 30 bigs. I call and beat his ace queen. I check raise 10s on queen 10 X all diamonds. Turn 9 I jam, he calls with king queen and the king of diamonds, and I just hold. So I mean, it's just nice to run good. And then I was up to like 280k, and then last hand before the break, I'm on dinner break right now, so I officially can't re-enter. This is definitely my last tournament. I raise with pocket 8s under the gun, 6-handed to 6k, recreational player on the button calls, recreational player in the small blind calls, and then the big blind, who's a good reg, squeezes to 27k, playing 107k. So with my 8s, I just decided to jam it. I think like his bluffs are going to have a lot of 9x, 10x, and like hands with really good equity that I really want to make fold. And I think that if he's bluffing too much, this is a super print. And it was last time before the break just started. I think it's like a nice spot for people to take. And he can just squeeze with like ace queen, ace king and run it. And obviously I'm happy to take the flip with the dead money, and I think I get it through there sometimes. And for 36 bigs, whatever he had, I think it's reasonable. And there was loads of live tells on the fact the button and the small blind were like just ready to go to break. So they were pretty much always folding. And it's probably perceived that I open wider because it's last time before the break, and like people just want to go to break. So I think it's just a spot where it's happy to run it with 8s and happen to run into jacks. So going back after the break with 45 big blinds, it's 30-minute clock. We've probably already lost like 70% of the field or something dumb because it's so fast, and the field is full of wizards, it's full of loads of fun players as well. It's had like nearly 550 entries, so this is my last chance to get out of it, but either way, I'm having fun. Hopefully next I'll be talking about making day 2, but if not, at least it's going well so far.
A few moments later.
When I went back after dinner in the 5k, there wasn't really that many interesting hands. The structure's really quick. My table, I was chip leader with like 24 big blinds at one point, and it's just like you raise, c-bet, end up losing a pot, and then suddenly you're like 18 big blinds and someone else is chip leader, and like everyone's tanking because you're getting close to the money. And I did end up cashing, and then I had to just tank and do loads of folding. I ended up down to like 6 big blinds and got it in with ace 5 against kings. And then got my biggest cash of the trip. I cashed for over 10k, first 6-figure cash. So at least I ended sort of well. That was my last tournament, but I finished pretty well. Deep run in the 1k, semi-deep run in the 5k. And that was it. That was my time in Vegas. completed. So for week 8, I played 10 tournaments and I had my first profitable week. I made $1,892. I noticed that I missed the $580 satellite that I played in week 6, so I'm going to add that to the final total as well. I played a total of 102 tournaments and the profit was minus $94,191. That is $146,243 in buy-ins. I cashed for $52,102 and I cashed in 16 tournaments out of the 102 tournaments, which is 15.7%, and that's about a minus 64% ROI. The average big blinds that I bought in with was 72 big blinds. I was going to figure out an average of what the structure of the tournaments were, like it was 20 minute, 30 minute, 60 minute, etc. But it was just going to take too much time, so I didn't bother. But I did notice that when it was an hour clock or when it was a 40-minute go to 1 hour clock, like all the slower structures, my chance of cashing based on the statistics was a lot higher. Like my consistency was a lot more the deeper the structure was. A lot of these tournaments were just such turbos that if it's a 30-minute structure and you're playing in World Series, you probably play like 10 to 13 hands every 30 minutes, every level. So that's like an orbit and a half. Sometimes you play 10-handed and that slows the game down even more. The variance is just pretty crazy in some of these things. And I knew the variance going into this. I'm pretty lucky that I got such a nice swap to have to like get me out so much, and I sold some action in some stuff. So the trip actually wasn't that bad, and I learned a lot from it. I'm genuinely, I don't regret any of it. I'm really glad that I went out there. I'm glad that I played so much. I think I played good for the most part. I mean, I can obviously remember a key few hands where I think I messed up, but I think compared to how many hands I must have played, 102 tournaments, and I don't know, I think I had like 3 or 4 days off, so like 50 to 52 days of poker, where I'm playing a lot of the day, most of the day. Like, considering how many hands I played, I think the amount that I made big mistakes was very low. The amount I made small mistakes was probably normal. So I genuinely can't complain. So what are my closing thoughts after this ridiculously long grind in Vegas? Well, first, it is what it is. It's happened now. I think I wouldn't really change anything. I mean, I know a lot of people were speaking to me about the max lay wedges, saying it's better probably to avoid playing entirely in those situations, but I disagree. I mean, I can see why people would think that. I think it is a lot. It's more of a gut punch to bust more tournaments, but if my choice is max late reg or don't play, I think just hunting for that little bit of extra EV is still worth it. And it's not ideal, like you should never prioritize max late regging as opposed to regging from the start. But if you play a first tournament and then you bust until late reg closes and there's another tournament on and it's play that or not play, then I think generally playing that is what you should do, unless it's going to get on top of you mentally, and it means you do have to probably put in more effort to your mental game when you're busting out in more tournaments and more often. But I think if you can bear it, then I think it's the play. It's the play of the highest EV, and while you're there, you want to maximize EV, and it does account for the other factors. Interestingly, I had a conversation with Kristen Bicknell, who's one of the best poker players in the world, and she was telling me how she almost misses the grind. Like, now that she's got to such a high level, plays like super high rollers and super high stakes, like it's a reminder that once you get to that next level, it's almost like there's no going back, and there is enjoyment at every level. Like I think back to when I was first playing $1, $5 tournaments online. I enjoyed it a lot. Like, I enjoyed the grind, and once you've almost moved past that stage, you can't necessarily ever go back to it. I mean, obviously there's times you can move down stakes and stuff, but you can't. Once, like, let's say someone wins the main event and they're suddenly like a millionaire, like you can't approach 1-1 in the same way as like a grind where you're grinding it out. It's not going to feel the same, and it's like there's almost levels to, I guess, everything. Like, I guess if you're progressing for a job, like if you start as X position and then you become a manager, or then you become a boss, CEO, whatever, then it is almost like you can't enjoy that lower level again, or at least not as easily. Like, you can't grind it out in the same way, as in like that's what you do because you're trying to make a living. It's just not the same, and I think it is important to enjoy the experience of whatever level you are at. And obviously this grind could have gone better for me, but it's my grind. Like I'm trying to beat these tournaments. I'm trying to be the best player I can be in these tournaments. Keep turning up, which I think I have done, to stay on top of my mental game, which has been hard at times, but I think I have done, to keep improving as a player, which I think I have, and I still am every day. There's always stuff to be grateful for, and there's always things that make your position unique. Like I said, if I ever get to a stage where I'm playing super high rollers, then like say the Michael Adamos of the world, or the Justin Bonamos, like if you get to that stage, I imagine it just wouldn't feel the same to play like the 1K tournaments, the 2K tournaments, or like the $500 tournaments. So enjoy the position you're at while you're in that position. I'm happy that I actually got these vlogs made as well, because it's very easy, like I was talking about at the start, it's easy to just be too much of a perfectionist and then not to get anything done, because no matter what way I record me speaking, there's going to be things that I notice about the way I've said something that I could have said in a better way. You know, maybe the camera was like this instead of like this, or whatever it is, and you can lose so much time to just trying to make something perfect, and it can never be perfect. So you have to, at one point, just decide that you're gonna make something. And I'm happy that I got over that hurdle to make stuff that I don't think is perfect, but it gives me more room to improve as well, which has also been a really nice part of the journey. And like Gloria's editing has been ridiculous. Like it's also getting better all the time, and it's been really fun to come up with some cool creative ideas to try to be entertaining, to try and display the hand histories in ways that are nice to look at, to try and keep my thought processes more succinct, more simple, because obviously it's very easy to just speak loads of jargon and overcomplicate things as well, which isn't good for anyone. So I've enjoyed that part of the process as well. I think one thing that I did have to battle with a little bit, when you are on a massive downswing and you're in like the heat of it, it is very easy to become a worse version of yourself. Like definitely a less patient person, like a less kind person. Not to say that you'll become unkind or like any of these really terrible things, but it can make it harder to be happy for other people, and it can make it harder to be happy in general. Going through that experience and having a lot more mental practices that kept me in line, and like battling against those negative thoughts and narratives. I think anytime that you go through that experience and you come out of the other side, it does make you feel stronger, and I do feel better. Like there's been times in my poker career where I've really not been able to be happy for people, even though I've wanted to be, but I found myself back on top and being happy for friends when they were winning, and even when I was losing, which maybe other people don't have that difficulty, but in the past I definitely have. But the practices that I put in place definitely helped me get to the mental space that I wanted to be in. And I think if you can, being happy for other people is genuinely one of like life's superpowers, because if you can genuinely be happy for other people, live vicariously through them, there's always people being lucky, being successful, being all these other things. If you can feel the happiness through them, you can be happy so much more easily, and it is literally contagious if it's genuine. And I know sometimes it can be difficult, and there are definitely some people that are a lot harder to be happy for. If you are around the right people, the people that are humble and the people that appreciate how much luck is involved with great success, then I think it's much easier to be happy, and then you get to be happier yourself, and it's like an upward cycle. So what does it mean for the future? Essentially more of the same. Like if there's festivals online, I'm playing loads of tournaments. Sundays online, I'm playing loads of tournaments. I'm going to be going back to Vegas next year, of course, for like they're moving the series to the Strip now. It's going to be at Paris and Bally's. So I'll be spending at least another month in Vegas playing tournaments, I'm sure. In the meantime, when I'm not playing tournaments, I'm going to play a lot more cash games. Like if there's anything I've learned, it's that all my friends that play cash games made a lot of money in Vegas, and everyone I know who plays cash games just seems to consistently make money all the time. And I think it's a smart way to supplement the variance of tournaments. Like I think tournaments are great, but if you just play tournaments, it is very, very mentally draining. I mean, why put unnecessary extra pressures on yourself when you could have potentially consistent income with the same skill set, essentially? I know tournaments are slightly different, but most of poker theory is very similar. And if I've already built up what I like to think is a winning strategy, then I should be implementing it in as many ways as I can. Besides that, I'm going to be back to studying poker every day. I'm going to be coaching poker more often, so message on one of my social medias if you're interested in that. And I'm going to continue making weekly content, whether it's vlogs or just poker related content. I'm going to continue doing it for as long as I have ideas, which I have at least like a few weeks worth. We'll see how that goes, I guess. And I think I likely will do the vlogs again for Vegas next year, because it was a lot of fun. It was a great creative outlet. And I've got a lot of feedback to work with to try and make them even better than last time as well. But yeah, besides that, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks to Gloria for editing these videos together. She's done an amazing job. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. YouTube does tell me that like 70% of the people that watch aren't subscribed, so if you're one of those people, I'm now talking directly to you. Click the subscribe button, or I will probably never find out anyway. But no, it's nice to see the numbers going up as I'm putting work into this. It does make it nicer to continue, to keep coming up with more ideas, to keep creating more content. Thanks for joining me on this journey. It's been a grind. It's been fun, it's been painful, it's been a bit of everything. I hope that it's been educational and entertaining. If in the next week, if you send me a message with a screenshot proving that you've liked, shared and subscribed, then I will analyze one poker hand history for free. Why not? So you can just send me the hand, as long as it's in the next 7 days from when this video is released. So there you go. Have a nice free roll from me. Thanks for watching. It's been fun, and I will see you sometime in the future.